rather snappy, won't you? folks. Folks, it is the last stream of the year. Can you believe it? Another year has gone by. Um, wow. At this point in time, it's probably been about maybe 4 or 5 years already. That 4 or 5 years that I've been streaming at this point. Another year. Welcome everybody. Quad Bennett, Alio, how's it going? Hello, person that has been banned. Hello, Heat. Ponder Monkey. It can't be. Yes. Yes, it can. It's been almost 5 years, I think. You're doing a great stream. Thank you, Orange Hue. I appreciate that. It can't be, but it is. I believe about 5 years now. At least on Twitch, anyways. Mouselander, welcome. At least as far as I can remember, okay? It might be 4 years, it might be 5. Somewhere around that vicinity, okay? Welcome, everybody. As the last stream of the year, once again, folks, reminder, please join the Discord if you want to keep up with the channel, and if you want to come hang out for the end of month movie night, 6 p.m. Just join the Discord really quick. Mister with the tier 1 sub for 35 months. Jeez, thank you so much. I appreciate that support. Lurking, thank you. Thank you. Feel free to just hang out. Did you cover the Plateau State Massacre? No, I have not. I just looked this up. This is from Nigeria. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of international news, but from what I'm reading, that sounds pretty bad. I'm 37 months and 3 years here. Yeah, and I've been streaming for definitely longer than that, I can assure you. You've been there for the majority of it. 3 years and... No, 37 months, 12 times... Yeah, it is about 3 years, is it not? Yeah. That's the majority of the stream life. Getting popular? Well, I don't know about popular, but, yeah. Alright, folks, today's probably going to be a very chill stream since, it is the last stream of the year, so we'll cover a few things. And yeah, it'll be a very straight to the point stream, and let's do it. Michael Hassler, yes, like the stream, join it, subscribe, do the YouTubes. All right. Let's start.
My story started when I was 11 and was introduced to a single kiss in a Scholastic book. I didn't understand why I liked it. This was the start of my porn addiction journey.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
No, your ears are not deceiving you, my friend. She just blamed Scholastic Books for her porn addiction because of a picture that she saw of two people kissing in one of the books that they published. Now, this testimony took place during a Board of Trustees meeting in the Conroe School District in Texas, and she is there basically to pitch a ban on all Scholastic Books for schools in this district. Now, in case you're wondering, because I'm sure you are, this is the picture that she is referring to that is responsible for her porn addiction. Yeah, I'm sure that looking at it just...
Yeah. Yeah. Out of all the things that didn't happen, that definitely didn't happen the most, okay? I mean, like, are we seriously going to are we seriously going to say with a straight face, like, by the way, this is not to diminish the reality or the maybe truth that this person may or may not have a porn addiction. That may be the case, but I don't think I don't think that was the start of the porn addiction. I'm pretty sure that that's not how that goes. Yeah, careful. You don't want to violate TOS. True. Very, very true. Yeah, like there's a lot of things that can be a cause of an addiction, but like I just don't see it. It seems to me like it's being she's using a possible, like, it may be the case that she might have a porn addiction. But banning books that depict one kiss is not it. Did this young lady ever heard of mono? No, I don't think that has to do with the porn addiction. No, I don't think so.
get you all hot.
Or the obvious attempt to just ban books because it depicted cartoon characters kissing. Yeah, let's show the very very X-rated material here. Okay, just make sure that let's make sure that everybody does me a favor and make sure that everyone does me a favor and do not report this stream for TOS violations for obvious sexual content. Most of the people I know who have a porn addiction got it from VHS at home. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like Scholastic school books had nothing to do with that. That's my point. Right? That's my point.
Yeah, I'm sure that looking at it just gets you all hot and bothered. But, first of all, I just got to say, I am a little bit thankful that she's at least not blaming gay or trans people for her porn addiction. This one is all on you, straight people. But it is odd to me that she's blaming Scholastic books, all of them in particular, because kissing is being portrayed. I mean, kissing is something that is portrayed everywhere. It's unavoidable. But as you'll soon learn, there's a very specific reason why she's blaming Scholastic books, and she's probably lying, or at a minimum, if we're being really charitable here, embellishing when it comes to this story. But never.
Yeah, essentially what I'm trying to get at, right? Seems like just another one of those GOP fall lawsuits. Yeah, but the outcome, should these people get their way, is that they're just going to do away with whatever books that they feel, is in their eyes spreading degeneracy among young people or something, whatever it is that their BS religious excuses. And please don't call Trump an orange buffoon.
Nevertheless, there is more, and we're going to hear it. So specifically, this is what happened after she saw that kiss.
I was then very curious and began exploring, and it only got worse. I looked for other books that gave me pleasure, and it led to internet searches that I will never forget. I was addicted every night, and it was something I immediately regretted and eventually became depressed about. When I was 13 years old, I told my mom I wanted to die. My battle with porn addiction ended 7 years ago, and I've never told this story to the public. I didn't even tell my mom until I was 18 years old. I'm only telling you this today because there
Wait a minute. Didn't she just say she talked with her mother just like 5 seconds ago? Or was it something else? Hold on.
My battle with porn addiction ended 7 years ago, searches that I will never forget.
Yeah, and also like how did she go to like therapy or something? How did that end up happening? How did a 13-year-old end up having like therapy or something?
I was addicted every night,
How old is she? I have no idea.
and it was something I immediately regretted and eventually became depressed about. When I was 13 years old, I told my mom I wanted to die. My battle with porn addiction ended 7 years ago, and I've never told this story to the public. I didn't even tell my mom until I was 18 years old. I'm only telling you this today because there are way too many stories which are much worse. I don't want Conroe ISD students to repeat what I went through because they accidentally ran upon a scholastic book or another book that could lead them down this road, which drama is one of them. This isn't about banning books. This is a
But it is though. But it is though. You're confusing addiction with a community of people who judge others for being human beings. Yeah. That's a good point.
about sexual obscenity. I wasn't exposed to this level of sexual
Dude, true. A depiction of two cartoon characters, sexual obscenity. This sounds like this honestly sounds like this was given to her by adults. Well, presumably she is now an adult at this point. But yeah, no, depicting two cartoon characters kissing is not anywhere near the realm of sexual obscenity. This is a slippery slope, essentially. Saying that somehow that particular depiction of the cartoons led to her doing this. Nah, I don't buy it. Yeah, it was definitely fed to her. Yeah, I mean, unless it's a Christian guilt reasoning. Yeah, this smells like indoctrination, that this was like fed to her. Yeah.
material, but I was already captured by a single kiss. Getting rid of scholastic books and their book fairs will inevitably protect kids.
Wait, but you said that this wasn't about book bannings. You just said that this wasn't about book bannings, and then you are now calling for book bannings based on an anecdote. If we are just to take your story at face value, which if we are to take your story at face value, this sounds like something that you went through, but is not an argument to take down a scholastic book depicting two cartoon characters kissing for everybody else. And most people I do not know do not fall into any addiction based on one picture. Yeah, it's very hard to say that this was the start. Assuming that we are taking her claim of porn addiction to be true, I don't think that you can blame it on one picture. She said it's not a book burning. Gotcha. Take her half seriously. Well, I mean, it may be the case that she may have had an addiction problem. It may be the case. I just don't think that banning all the scholastic books for every other kid um, is the right play here. Because of her anecdotal story, we're now just going to blanket ban all scholastic books.
Kids, but it's your decision. What do you want to do? Where do you
Google what is kissing, safe search on.
want history to go down? Do you want kids to be exposed to this kind of material? Because I was.
What kind of material, dude? 2 cartoon characters kissing is not sexually explicit material.
And I don't want any other kids to. It's not about banning books, I promise.
But you are. It is about banning books. You just called for the banning of these books based on one picture. So it is about banning books.
Promise you that. It's about protecting the children.
Now, if she actually struggled with a porn addiction and it caused that much mental health problems, I feel bad for her. Genuinely.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. This is about banning a company. So she cannot watch any movie then? Yeah, can't watch a single depiction of kissing. No, I don't think that that's I think there's embellishments in this anecdote over here.
Genuinely so. But you'll have to forgive me for doubting the sincerity of her claim here, given the conflict of interest that she failed to mention.
Hi there. Time's
Filthy song from The Little Mermaid, Kiss the Girl. True. You know, I watched The Little Mermaid once. I was never the same. Governor and capitalists first inflate the prices of education and healthcare. Then they give loans with high interest to make profits. Education and healthcare shouldn't be so expensive to require loans. Interest enslaves people. Okay. But that's a problem with capitalism. Yeah. That's a problem with capitalism. We need to boycott Disney. True. We need to boycott Disney. It depicted, The Little Mermaid. Yeah. Can't have that. Every time I see a fish, I become. All right. Jesus.
Because investigative journalist Judd Legum discovered that woman, Lena Burkhardt, is actually the public relations coordinator at Brave Books, a conservative competitor to Scholastic Books. Legum explained.
There it is, folks. There it is. You're right, Heat. You're right. This is about banning a company, and if they can ban the company, then this competitor gets the benefits of that. I see. It's all coming together, folks.
Explains, Brave Books offers a slew of children's books with conservative messaging written by right-wing influencers and politicians. Authors on Brave Books' website include actor Kevin Sorbo, United States Representative Dan Crenshaw, Donald Trump's former press Secretary Sean Spicer, and Trump's former national security advisor Michael Flynn. But wait, there's more. Brave Books also published stochastic terrorist Chaya Raichik's children's book, white supremacist Jack Posobiec's children's book, and a book by conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair, which is described as the conservative response to gender identity. So she works for a conservative alternative to Scholastic Books, and Brave Books, her employer, along with their affiliate Skytree Book Fairs, have gone out of their way to lie and defame Scholastic Books. They've accused them of publishing graphic content, and Legum also uncovered that the website StopScholastic.com redirects people to Skytree Book Fairs, where it condemns Scholastic for publishing LGBTQ+ books. And it's not a coincidence that Brave Books and Skytree Book Fair also shared her appearance in order to further demonstrate how harmful Scholastic books are, so they can push them as an alternative.
Yeah. Whew. Like all the math books, Florida banned for being woke, leaving them only with books from a company Youngkin used to run. Yeah, this is all making so much sense. So much sense. Yeah, no cancel culture unless I do it and I get to benefit from it. Makes sense.
In other words, that woman is a plant for a conservative company who is lobbying school boards to replace Scholastic books with their conservative alternatives. But regardless, it actually worked. Legum reports Burkhart's gambit has already had an impact. The Conrail School Board, after listening to her story, voted to restrict access to Drama, the Scholastic book featuring a kiss from all students in the 8th grade and below. One of the school board members, Melissa Dungan, suggested replacing Scholastic with Skytree book fairs. All glory to God, Burkhart posted in...
Jesus. Wow. This is actually absurd. This is actually absurd and pretty disturbing, if you ask me. Man. Hemming and hawing about how the left is indoctrinating children, and here you are working as a company plant to get your propaganda instead of like just normal whatever normal Scholastic books. But you have the audacity and the gall to complain or to cry about children indoctrination. Yeah, I think that you actually don't care about indoctrination. I think that the issue is that you don't get to do the indoctrination. You want to be the one to actually indoctrinate children.
In response to the news. But of course, Lena made sure to delete that response after she was exposed. So they're all doing this out in the open.
Yeah. If my kids got that at school, heads would roll. Yeah, I would be very concerned as a parent.
But if you're going to make claims in service of your political, or in this case, business agenda, wouldn't you at least try to tone it down a little bit to make it more believable? I mean, if her claim wasn't so goddamn outrageous, nobody probably would have even bothered to look into it. But conservatives can't help themselves, right? They don't just lie compulsively. They do it in the most insane, hyperbolic way imaginable. But somehow, that is not the most outrageous claim during a public testimony.
Well, because the truth doesn't really matter, right? Like, the truth is irrelevant to these people. It's just about what emotions you can evoke. It's literally just that. It's to evoke the correct fifis to manufacture outrage, to get your will done. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter how outrageous or absurd these lies are. As long as it evokes the right fifis to get your agenda done, it doesn't really matter.
That we're going to be looking at in this video. That award actually goes to this woman.
Hello, my name is Erin Mazzoni, and my address is on file. I just moved here
We the parents. Yeah. This is going to go great.
from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Hearing what this person just said really upsets me because our entire community up north fell apart. It was like watching a bad car accident for 3 years straight.
What?
It started out as pride coming in, and I thought everything would be okay. I was totally fine with them having and doing what they wanted under the laws. And it ended with a rainbow room where 8 to 12-year-old kids were given butt plugs and dildos. And
What? Okay, out of all the things that definitely didn't happen, this didn't happen the most, okay? I retract that previous statement. Yeah, vote locally. Local elections are incredibly important. Absolutely.
trained. They just got a city grant for $650,000 to be able to do more training on the children.
Like, are we gonna fact check this? Because, like, I don't know about you, but I would imagine, that this would make headlines everywhere. This is a woman filled with hatred and bigotry. Yep. Butt plugs and dildos ain't cheap. She's full of it. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. About what? Could someone clarify? What do you need clarification on?
Just give her the Oscar already. She's earned it.
Give her the Oscar. Okay, so like I'm just gonna like take 5 seconds to think about this. Yeah, they're adult toys. That she is claiming that there are adult toys in a specific room in in a children's school. Okay. Yeah, this sounds like the litter box fiasco. Correct. Heat with the 5 biddies, Allie with the 6 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Out of all the things that never happened, this didn't happen the most, okay? Like, how are you going to explain to me? Like, can you imagine Ponder Monkey for 100 biddies? Thank you. You're literally going to tell me that, like, no parent found out? No parent found out? Yeah, okay.
So I just have to restate here what she said, because I know you're probably questioning whether or not you heard her correctly. And
I thought adults were to supervise children. This story is nonsense. There's nothing truthful about this story. This never happened. So don't try to make any sense out of it. Don't try to rationalize it. She's just making it up. These can you imagine hearing a story that there's a room, a rainbow room for little kids that have sex toys, and she's claiming that the adults are the adults are training the children. Like, does that sound like a realistic plausible story? And nobody found out, and this story didn't break national news across the country, or the website fiasco, and there wasn't even a real website. Yep.
And you did, but just so we're clear here, she is alleging that the Rainbow Room, an LGBTQ plus youth organization, gave 8 to 12-year-olds dildos and butt plugs because they just hand those out for free, I guess, especially to children. And of course, there's no evidence for this claim. And Phil Williams, chief investigative reporter for News Channel 5 in Tennessee, explains that the Bucks County Rainbow Room, quote, is an LGBTQIA plus youth program that provides a supportive and empowering environment for youth ages 14 to 21 located at a progressive church. Now, yes, sex education is one of the services that they provide, but as Pink News points out, there's zero evidence of butt plugs. And this person responded to the viral video writing, I actually work in Bucks County, and this is the first time hearing about free butt plugs and dildos. Maybe she's so upset because she didn't get in line early enough to claim hers? I mean, it's entirely possible, right? Now, I actually feel...
Yeah, that's wild. And also pretty like, shame on her. We had the evidence. What else are they going to learn from? The internet? Geek Ledger, welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that.
A little bit foolish because I actually didn't think it was possible for conservatives to concoct a more idiotic lie about kids in schools than the whole kids are identifying as cats and shitting in litter boxes at schools myth. But here we are. I think this one takes the cake. Now, I'm sure that you'll also not be surprised to learn that this woman is also a political operative. Phil Williams reports that she's been identified as the campaign manager of Franklin, Tennessee mayoral candidate Gabrielle Hansen, who went viral herself after refusing to apologize for inviting Nazis to her candidate forum. Now,
Yeah. A typical ending to these type of stories, isn't it, right? A typical ending to these type of stories.
conservatives watching this will inevitably say, Mike, you leftoids think that everyone you disagree with is a Nazi. But let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. LGBTQ Nation reports in a Telegram post earlier this year, Brad Lewis, a self-described friend of Hanson's and a leader of the white supremacist group Tennessee Active Club that accompanied her to the event, proudly claimed, quote, "I'm not a conservative. I'm an actual literal Nazi." And this is what Hanson said about them, quote, "I'm not going to denounce anybody, their right to be whatever it is that they want to be, whether I agree with what they do in their personal life or not," Hanson said of the self-proclaimed white supremacists she invited to the event to provide security. So they are pretty clear. Now for some additional context, here's a report from Phil Williams again, who was at the event in question.
Someone said you were here making a statement, and I don't know what that statement is.
No, we're not making a statement. We're here for Gabrielle Hanson's statement.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
White supremacists protecting a candidate who has made fighting LGBTQ pride events a focus of her campaign for mayor. Some were not too eager for their identities to be known.
We're just making sure everything goes well.
Okay, and are you concerned about things not going well?
It's a possibility, and we're just here to protect Gabrielle.
You're here to protect her.
Yes.
I hear you're all here for Gabrielle?
Yes, sir.
So what's the purpose?
We're just here to show her some support, that's all.
The man on the left is Sean Kaufman, who has been described by the Stop Anti-Semitism watchdog group as, quote, "a disturbed neo-Nazi and Holocaust denier with a documented history of violence and a massive cache of firearms."
Yeah.
A video posted online shows Kaufman and other extremists earlier this year outside a nonprofit group's drag show fundraiser. There's Kaufman giving a Nazi salute. He also showed up at a Chattanooga drag show last year with other extremists. In 2020, Kaufman was arrested for disorderly conduct at a Black Lives Matter protest.
Gabrielle's a friend of mine, and she's had some credible threats against her, so I'm just posted up out here.
Okay. Show her some support.
Then there's Brad Lewis. He's the operator of the Lewis Country Store on the far west side of Nashville, a store known for its extreme right-wing messaging. When the store recently went on the
Yeah, that was the Jewish question right there. The Great Lobby wants us to stay divided on who gets to indoctrinate. The real issue is how we got America rid of the Great Lobby. What is the Great Lobby? Can you explain that? Make this easy for us. What is the Great Lobby? And what do you mean by that? Jimmy Carter said, if anyone in Congress question Israel, they won't be there for next term. Let's fight for America first. That sounds like some fascist shit. Can you explain that? Because like America first is pretty categorically known to be related to fascist movements, to the fascist movement in this country. So yeah, can you elaborate on the Great Lobby? What does that mean? Please, just tell us like it is. What is the Great Lobby? Explain that.
market, Gabrielle Hanson was the real estate agent who got the listing. A recent investigation by the Southern Poverty Law Center revealed how the second floor of the store was being used as a white nationalist fight club.
Yeah. So just to recap, the crying butt plug lady is the campaign manager of a Republican with direct ties to neo-Nazis. Or I should say, was her campaign manager because Gabrielle Hanson lost, thankfully. But this lie about butt plugs and dildos is completely unsurprising because Nazis will say anything to justify their harassment and terrorizing of queer people. But on the subject of dildos, which is a segue that I never thought that I would say on this show, there's a passage from a novel that is highly contentious in conservative circles, and I'm going to let Louisiana Senator John Kennedy read it for us.
I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
I love how the eye contact at the end there just really
Yeah, this is in the Congressional Record now. Yep.
Conveys the character's passion. I think he really sold it. Now, yes, the book Genderqueer is recommended for mature teens and adults, and its inclusion at some school libraries has been contested by conservatives, one of them being this woman. Meet Massachusetts Secretary of State candidate Rayla Campbell. She is a Republican, and as LGBTQ Nation explains, Campbell has a history of making outlandish claims about Massachusetts' public education system. At the state GOP party convention in May, she asserted with no evidence that fifth graders were being encouraged to perform sex acts on each other. She also attacked Genderqueer. Quote, "This is not sexual education. This is child porn and sex trafficking. This book is being pushed out in our public schools," Campbell said of Maya Kobabe's illustrated memoir. Now, first of all, to say that this book is being pushed suggests that it's part of school curriculums, when there is zero evidence that it is part of any school's curriculum around the country. Second of all, saying that the book is porn is one thing, but saying that it's CP is something entirely different. That means that anyone who owns a copy of Genderqueer is in possession, technically, by her logic, of CP, which is a crime. Now, during her...
Yeah. You know, it controls Democrats and Republicans. Everybody's competing for who's ready to sacrifice more. It's the APAC. It's what people say isn't heard. No. Come on. Stop dancing around words, dude. This is boring. Why don't you just say what you mean? What is the Great Lobby? Say it. The Great Lobby is where you wait for the great racing game to start. True. Stop dancing around words, dude. It's boring. Come on.
Her appearance at a Back the Blue rally back in August, she brought a copy of what she calls CP with her, presumably to show fellow Back the Blue bootlickers how bad it is in an effort to gin up support for a ban or something. But after claiming the book that she had on her person contained CP, well, an anonymous person reported her to the police for, you guessed it, possibly possessing CP, where she then had to presumably prove to an officer that the book didn't actually contain CP and that she didn't have CP on her. Here's a clip from the incident.
By the people she backs. Back the blue, right, Rayla Campbell? Don't resist.
Actually, this is phenomenal. This is exactly the appropriate way to handle this. Because, like, if you're truly going around saying that this is CP, then that's pretty illegal. So by that definition, absolutely you should be investigated by your own standards if you think that that's CP, and you're holding the said thing that you just claimed that was CP. You can't be surprised that an officer is going to investigate you, right? By your own standards.
See, this is why it's so important that we are factual with the claims that we make. Now look, she has the right to advocate against this book if she thinks it's inappropriate, fine. But rather than
the Jewish lobby, the tech giants lobby, the uniform censoring, it's the Andrew Tate's Matrix. Yeah, get out of here. Fuck off. Just say it's the Jews and move on. Jesus Christ. Fucking Nazi piece of shit.
Than just being truthful, she decided to lie about the book, and that lie came back to bite her in the ass because she was humiliated and liberals filmed her and taunted her as she was being talked to by the police. Jesus Christ. Now, I've got one more for you because some conservatives, they don't bother to cloak their agenda in hyperbole or lies. They just cut to the chase. So we're going to hear from an Oklahoma State Board Education public commenter. And this woman is just going to admit she wants to kill gay people. Full stop.
Instead of listening to what I misspoke at the last meeting, I want to make a clarification. So let's just hear it straight from him. If a man lies with a man as one lies with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They must be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, lovely. I tore it. Okay, well, sorry. I was a little exuberant. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the ungodliness and wickedness of men who suppress the truth by their wickedness, since what may be known about God is plain to them because God has made it plain to them.
Yeah, exuberant, excited, giddy with the idea of condemning gay people to death. Massachusetts, Riley Campbell did not win, and in 2020 was sued by the state for her comments.
Do not be deceived. Neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor male prostitutes, nor homosexual offenders, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor slanderers.
Wait, so male prostitutes are not okay, but female prostitutes are okay? Is that what I'm getting at? Sex work is okay for women, but not for men? This is America, not a theocracy.
Slanderers nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. And that is what some of you were. But you were washed, you were sanctified, you were justified in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ by the Spirit of our God. All of that was to clarify what God actually said and to remind all of us that this destructive lifestyle is not natural.
Great passage, but here's my favorite one from Leviticus. 19:19 says, "You must obey all my decrees. Do not mate two different kinds of animals. Do not plant your field with two different kinds of seed. Do not wear clothing woven from two different kinds of thread." Now, I can't see the pants that she's wearing, but I'm assuming that it is a different fabric from her shirt. In other words, we're both going to hell, Karen. I'll see you there.
Yeah, men have needs, and women are bad, right? Women are bad in property, right? That's it.
Now, you're probably wondering who this is. Is she a political operative or a business insider? And actually, this one might surprise you the most. That's my auntie. I'm just kidding. She's seemingly a random Karen, but in conclusion, yes, these conservatives are lying. But some of them might be dumb enough to believe their own bullshit, which is why it's hard to really say definitively that they're lying, because some of them might just be drunk on their own Kool-Aid. And I say this especially because a lot of conservatives are becoming more and more delusional, right? Because as they grow more detached from reality, their perspectives are going to shift further and further from the rest of us. And
yeah, and it's not just like people disagreeing. It's not like we're just having simple disagreements. Like, these people live in a completely different alternate reality. They are not on planet Earth. So you can't really reason with these people because there's no reason behind the things that they believe. There's no logic. There's no sound logic, I should say, that makes sense and backs what they're believing. It's just all feelings, and it's just all feelings, and it has nothing to do with the real world.
And if that's the case, then we're going to see this trend continue. It's a product of radicalization.
And the more delusional, the more divorced from reality these people get, the more they are pushed out, the more they are pushed out from family. Because at some point, like, you know, people just get tired of it, right? Like, can you imagine, like, just constantly hearing this over and over and over again? You know, they lose friends, and, well, they just keep getting deeper and deeper into this delusional rabbit hole. And they get farther and farther away from reality. And the more that happens, the more radical they become, and the more outlandish and delusional their beliefs get. New Orleans is destructive, supposed Christians preaching against sex, while hypocrites and repressing everyone else, regardless of age. They're insecure and afraid they are wrong, so forcing others to comply makes them feel better. Yeah. And that's all, like, superimposed on by their religious beliefs. That's all superimposed on this kind of religious aspect. I think they're morally superior. They think they have to save everyone, all the wicked sinners, right? But not them, you know.
But as they resort to exaggeration and lies and outright defamation at times, it's more important than ever that we all remain committed to the truth ourselves, because hyperbolic lies might persuade some Americans momentarily, or at least get their attention, but remaining committed to the truth is how you build long-term credibility and permanently change hearts and minds, which is the point if you're interested in politics. So I'll stick to that, and these morons can keep floundering with nonsensical bullshit.
But these people are useful to politicians, yes, and it makes them dangerous. Yes, and it makes them dangerous. Alright, so now just kind of piggybacking off this, Idaho cannot enforce gender-affirming care ban. A judge rules. Parents should have the right to make the most fundamental decisions about how to care for their children. Damn, what a sensible statement. Wow. Idaho cannot enforce a law banning gender-affirming care such as puberty blockers and hormones for trans minors. A federal judge ruled a victory for families who had sued the state to challenging that law. In a preliminary order on Tuesday, U.S. District Judge B. Lynn Windmill in Boise wrote that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, guarantees of equal protection and due process, gives parents the right to get gender-affirming care for their children. Trans children should receive equal treatment under the law, said Windmill, who was appointed by Democratic former President Bill Clinton, wrote parents should have the right to make the most fundamental decisions about how to care for their children. Damn, what a concept. We're thankful the court saw the danger this law represents to our clients, and we're determined to fight this ban until Idaho is a safe place to raise every family, said Lee Nolan Sull of the ACLU. A lawyer for the plaintiff said in a statement. Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador said in a statement that the ruling places children at risk for irreversible harm, and that he would appeal. Idaho passed a law banning puberty blockers, hormones, or surgeries aiming to affirm a child's perception of the child's sex if that perception is inconsistent with the child's biological sex. It is one of 20 Republican-led states that have banned or restricted gender-affirming treatments. Two families of transgender girls receiving hormone therapy sued the state in May, saying that the law would cut off medically necessary care and violated their rights. Windmills, in granting the motion to block the law's enforcement while he hears the case, wrote that the banned treatment were safe, effective, and medically necessary for some adolescents. Yeah, because, like, just to be clear, if you, puberty blockers aren't just for, like, trans people, okay? Courts have been divided on, hormones, hormones aren't treatments just for trans kids either. If parents have the right to decide what's right for the kid, what happens when the parents disagree with the child? Well, it should be it should be a decision between the parents, the child, and the doctor, right? The Georgia-based 11th Circuit in August upheld an Alabama ban, and the Ohio-based 6th Circuit in September upheld bans in Kentucky and Tennessee. Families challenging the Tennessee bans have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to take up their case, first such petition on the issue. The St. Louis, Missouri-based 8th Circuit last year blocked an Arkansas ban. Through the court is expected to consider the issue again. Kind of necessary for early onset puberty? You mean like puberty blockers? Yeah, there's more than one use for them. Cosmic Seeking, welcome. Hi, Carlos. Season greetings. Please don't forgive me for being late. Nah, you're good. It is the last stream of the year. Can you believe that? at least in this case, the argument is being presented as, the argument is presented as like, hey, my children need this because that is what the doctor is recommending. Why can't I get my children the care that they need? And the court is saying, yeah, you're right. We'll see if this ends up getting squashed by the inevitable appeal. But we'll see. No festive pompon for the beanie? No, I don't have a beanie with a pompon on it, unfortunately. And I don't know if I could add. I guess I could. I don't know how I would add a pom-pom to make it temporary instead of like a permanent pom-pom. Yeah, I guess I could just get like Velcro. How about you don't and say you did? Yeah, Velcro. Velcro might work. Either get one that has Velcro, or get like 2 pieces of Velcro and make something out of that. I don't know. I've been making huge pom-poms lately, like huge. Like to put on hats. My cats thank you for your service. That's true. It could be a cat toy. Oh, it's more for decor? Gotcha. Clothes peg. Okay. There's another option. So I need 2 things. A pom-pom and a way of attaching it. I do have New Year's hats, by the way. Somewhere stored, I have like a Happy New Year's hat. It's not a beanie, though. It's not a beanie. Yeah, safety pin. That might work. They have a crocodile clip? I have no idea. I don't know what that is. I do have a safety pin, though. Lauren Boebert announces change of congressional district for 2024 because, yeah. Colorado's Republican Representative Lauren Boebert has announced that she'll be changing congressional districts ahead of the 2024 Republican nomination bid for the House. In a Facebook video on Wednesday, the 36-year-old far-right representative announced that she would be moving from Colorado's 3rd District to its 4th District. The 4th District, which has been categorized as solidly Republican, according to the Cook Political Report, is currently led by Ken Buck, who has served in Congress since 2015. In November, Buck announced that he would not be seeking re-election, citing the Republican Party's reliance on this lie that the 2020 election was stolen. Boebert's current 3rd District has been categorized as a toss-up in according to a Cook Political Reporting rating from earlier this month. Following her announcement, it was very close as it was last time. The Cook Political Report changed its categorization of the 3rd District to lean Republican, The Hill reports. How can you move districts without an election? You can. For state, for House representative elections, you can move to another district and then file and then file for running in that district. Yeah, it's for the election. In her announcement on Wednesday, Boebert called her decision a fresh start, adding, "I promise I would do whatever it takes to stop the socialist and communist from taking over our country." That means staying in the fight, but also not allowing Hollywood elite who, In some states, you have to live in the district. In some states, you don't. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. So it's possible, depending on how Colorado's rules are, it's possible that you don't even have to even move. Wow, phenomenal stuff. Doesn't make sense. It's a Beetlejuicing district. Whatever it takes, whatever it takes to stop the socialists and communists from taking over our country. A thing that is totally happening. That means staying in the fight. That means staying in a fight, but also not allowing Hollywood elite and progressive money groups to buy the third district. I mean, like, Jesus, this is literally just like the Jewish question. A seat that they have no business owning. Okay. She has to move, maybe, depending on the rules. But she's such a traitor. Someone said she's renting a track home in the new district, but don't quote me. She's going to find out how far-reaching the internet news thing is. Quote, she went on to say, we cannot lose the third in Colorado's 4th district as Henry for an unapologetic fascist. Unapologetic fascist with a thin veneer of pretending to be a defender of freedom with a proven track record of far-right politics and bigotry. Another way of putting it is conservative principles. She's moving from an R plus 9 district to an R plus a shit ton district. Yeah, she wants to coast. She wants to coast to victory so she can get that pension, She went on to say, we cannot lose the third. Oh, yes, we know. I'll be moving to the 4th in 2024. Oh, yeah, so she is moving. I'll be moving to the 4th in 2024 and will continue to take my conservative fight directly to them. And the Aspen donors, George Soros, and the Hollywood actors that are trying to buy the seat, well, they can go pound sand. We aren't going to give them the opportunity to steal the third. The third. Republicans will hold the third, and I'll proudly represent the 4th, and Republicans will be stronger for it. Yeah, Jesus. In 2022, Boebert won her re-election bid for Colorado's 3rd district by beating her Democratic opponent by 546 votes. Wow. Assuming that she does survive the primary. Earlier this year, first, a 56-year-old former banker announced that he would be running against Boebert again, tweeting in February that he was launching this campaign and to unseat her and restore dignity to Colorado's representation. In response to Boebert's announcement, first said that from day one of this race, I've been squarely focused on defending rural Colorado's way of life and offering common sense solutions to the problems facing the families of Colorado's 3rd congressional district. My focus will remain the same. I look forward to bringing these issues with me to Congress in 2024. Boebert's announcement follows what she may have called a pretty difficult year for me and my family. In May, Boebert filed for divorce from her husband, whom she said she had 4 sons. The former couple also ran a gun-themed restaurant called Shooter's Grill, which shut down in 2022. In September, Boebert faced widespread backlash after she had a male guest her kicked out from a Beetlejuice production for inappropriate behavior, including vaping, recording video, and groping each other. Following Boebert's announcement on Wednesday, Richard Holftorf, a Colorado Republican state representative who's also running to represent the state's 4th district, criticized her. Seat shopping isn't something that voters look kindly upon. If you can't win in your home, you can't win here. I'm in it to win it, and I welcome the lady from Rifle to the race she had. She's grossly lacking in understanding the needs of 21 counties in eastern Colorado that make up this district. She knows she's losing her own district, and I'm sure that she'll lose here too. Yeah, I think that seat shopping should be illegal. Like if you're just moving to try to win seats, I think that should be illegal. Like you should have a wait period. Like if you move to a district to just so you can try to win that seat, you shouldn't be able to run right off the bat. There should be like a waiting period before you're able to run. Like you need to skip like a few election cycles before you're able to run. Like, especially if you just came, like, former Congress people or people that are in Congress right now that are seeking to move to another district just for the sake of doing that, should be barred from rerunning in that district, at least for a couple of election cycles or something like that. I don't know. I considered moving to Rifle, Colorado. It's maybe get to know the district first. Yeah, like if this rule should apply only to Congress people who are just like going into a new cycle. You know, Mitt Romney, watch your vote in both districts and get caught. I mean, you know, not the brightest. So. Anyways, phenomenal meme. The Biden administration warns Texas it will sue if the state implements a strict immigration law. You mean the illegal immigration law? The Biden administration on Thursday warned Texas that it will sue the state if it implements a strict immigration law known as SB 4 that would empower state and local law enforcement officials to arrest, jail, and prosecute migrants suspected of entering the U.S. unlawfully. The Justice Department said it would file a lawsuit against SB 4 if Texas did not assure federal officials by January 3rd that the state would refrain from enforcing the law as planned in March, according to a letter sent to Governor Greg Abbott on December 28th and obtained by CBS News. In addition to creating illegal entry crimes at state level, the law would allow Texas judges to also issue de facto deportation orders, which obviously they cannot do because this is a federal issue. In its letter, the Justice Department said SB 4 would effectively criminalize actions that are already illegal at the federal level, undermine relations with Mexico, and prevent officials from enforcing federal immigration law, including those designed to grant refuge to migrants fleeing persecution. Because SB 4 is unconstitutional and will disrupt the federal government's operations, we requested Texas forbear its enforcement, said the Principal Duty Assistant to Attorney General Brian Boynton in his letter to Greg Abbott. If Texas does not heed the Biden administration's demand, the United States intend to file the suit to enjoin the enforcement of SB 4. Meanwhile, Tommy Tuberville lives in Florida while representing Alabama. Yeah, make that make sense, huh? Representative for Abbott, who signed SB 4 earlier this month after the measure was passed by the Texas legislature, did not immediately respond for a request for comment. SB 4 is already being challenged in a federal court by the ACLU, which has also argued that the law is unconstitutional. SB 4 is the latest attempt by Texas to challenge the Biden administration on immigration. Under Abbott, Texas has transported tens of thousands of migrants to New York City, Chicago, and other Democratic-led cities, tasked the National Guard units to fortify the Rio Grande with razor wire, and assigned state troopers to arrest some migrants on trespassing charges. The measure would be the strictest state immigration law in modern U.S. history, making unauthorized immigration a state crime ranging from a misdemeanor to a felony. Entering Texas illegally from Mexico would be treated as a misdemeanor crime, punishable by up to 180 days in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. Illegal re-entry into Texas would be a felony offense, punishable with 10 or 20 years in jail, depending on whether the migrant in question had previously been deported or convicted of certain crimes. SB 4 would also allow Texas magistrates to order migrants suspected of violating the illegal entry or re-entry law to return to Mexico as an alternative to continuing their prosecution. Those found to violate those orders could be charged with a second-degree felony. Jesus. Just moved to Pueblo, Colorado. The town is all lead poison. Jeez. The Mexican government has already said it would not accept returns of migrants from Texas state officials, denouncing SB4 as an anti-immigrant law. It is. Abbott and other supporters of SB4 has argued that the law will deter illegal border crossings. They won't. He and other Republican leaders have faulted the Biden administration for the unprecedented levels of migrant crossings recorded over the past 3 years. The critics of the law said that it will lead to racial profiling of people who look like migrants. They've also argued that SB4 could backfire from a public safety perspective, overwhelming state and local jails and diverting law enforcement officials away from efforts to arrest serious criminals. I mean, that's what cops are for, right? To harass brown people. Not to do their job. Cops can't be bothered to actually go around and stop serious crime. It is my opinion that the Biden administration should already be challenging this period. Although I suppose they have to wait until it comes into effect. I mean, they should honestly take it to court, because on its surface, it can't. You can't. It just cannot stand. A-Bond, how's it going? Texas is sucking a lot right now. Yeah. All right. So this happened.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
The fact that you even have to wait this long is absurd. That would require the Biden administration to have ambition and willingness to improve the status quo. Yes, the only out that I'm giving them is that I'm assuming that they're waiting for the law to come into effect, officially. I'm doing a training at work, but lurking about. Thank you so much for the 300 biddies. Thank you, I appreciate that. Very, very generous.
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run.
Let me stop you right there. If the first words that are uttered out of your mouth is not the Civil War is basically to preserve the institution of slavery, then you're wrong. And the first thing that she says after regrouping is we need capitalism. Yeah, we'll get to yeah.
The freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause?
The freedoms of what you, the freedom the freedom of whether or not you could own slaves. Yes, thank you, Nikki Haley. If you read the Declaration of the Secession from seceding states, they make it very clear. Oh yeah, in fact, the Vice President of the Confederate States of America was very clear about it. Was very clear. They reject this idea that the Founding Fathers supposedly put about equality and all this stuff. I think the paraphrasing statement of the Vice President, the paraphrasing of the Vice President is the Confederate States of America was something to the effect of we reject this idea that we are all created equal. In fact, we are under the impression that white people are superior, and therefore we reject this idea of equality. Nikki Haley statistically tied with Trump in New Hampshire, at least for now. Heat with the 5 biddies, Alia with the 6 biddies. Thank you. Haley sounds a lot like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You mean just like a Republican? Yeah, they all sound like this. What, you thought Republicans were one different from each other?
Cause of the Civil War was?
The cause of the Civil War was slavery, was to preserve and to protect the institution of slavery. They were very clear about this. Sharpie Diesel with the 40 biddies. Jesus, you guys are being incredibly generous. Like, this wasn't, by the way, this wasn't a this, like, under any other, like, circumstance, this isn't like a gotcha question, right? This is very simple. This is very simple and very basic American history. It shouldn't be a gotcha question unless you're a Republican. And like a lot of these, you know, clowns are rushing to the defense and having this old, you know, twisted version of history. I've seen the comments. Yeah, not good.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have...
Ma'am, the question was about what was the cause of slavery? I'm sorry, what was the cause of the Civil War? That room is so I gotta wear shades. Republicans don't know history? Oh, I think... I don't know. It depends. I think they, like a lot of, especially a lot of these folks do, they just can't really talk about what the real history is, because that would give away the game, right? She does not want to offend the white supremacists in the audience. Ah, now we're touching on something. Yes, because guess who that audience also coincidentally is? What this primary is about. What this primary is about is essentially can you win over Trump's base. At least that's what they think. I mean, fundamentally, when it comes down to it, Trump's base is going to be loyal to Trump, but, you know, Conscious Canuck with the 200 biddies, incredibly generous. Thank you. Going to bet Haley's biggest donors are very much pro-slavery. The lost cause and state rights have been taught in some southern schools long enough that it's taken as truth by a lot of people. That is true. That is true. I mean, how bad is it that even in Florida, even as someone who grew up in the education system in Florida, you know, maybe it's just a product of having a good teacher, but even I was taught this, you know?
Have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
But, like, what if government needs to get in the way to, you know, stop slavery? What? What if the government needs to get in the way of the institution of slavery because these white supremacists wouldn't let it go? For many reasons. One, because they're white supremacists. Two, there was an economic incentive, especially among the large, you know, plantation owners. Especially at the large scale plantation owners, they definitely had an economic incentive. You were educated pre-DeSantis, that's true. Slavery is still legal, it's just called prison labor. Yeah, that's true. Lots of GOP in New Hampshire, but work in Massachusetts. This is where it gets historically complicated, though, because the government intervened largely due to secession, not because of ending slavery. No, I'm saying that she's saying that, oh, we should have freedoms or liberties or whatever, because I don't know why she can't simply answer the question. But what I'm saying is that what if the government had to intervene to eliminate or stop an institution like slavery, or stop people from being their human rights being violated? Like, it's not just really a topic that ever gets properly dissected in common discourse, because too many people engage in things like presentism. The South seceded to preserve slavery. Exactly. Lincoln ended the Civil War, but yes, it's complex. Yeah, the leaders of the Confederate States were very, very clear as to what they were about. Like, this isn't up for discussion. This isn't up for discussion. They're very, 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 very explicit. I mean, it's pretty clear. But as people like kind of stand argue, they had the legal right to secede. Maybe so. But again, it's fundamentally the right to secede to preserve the institution of slavery. So again, like to distill things as simple as possible, to distill this as simple as possible, the reasons why the South seceded was to preserve the institution of slavery. Obviously, it's a very academic point, but that's kind of why I don't always enjoy this being discussed by politicians. It's always too lazy, too surface level. Well, I mean, again, it's pretty simple. Like, they may have laid out, the legal arguments to secession, but at the end of the day, the reasons why they did this is to preserve the institution of slavery. And then, like the simulacra points out, then they decide that they were going to go to war on that. Many things in life are not simple or black and white, and some were there as a truth. Yeah. Given the fact that you've been banned from Lumi-Roo and Real Radhom, I mean, Pixels Mixels is pretty chill too. Yeah. Not sure how long you're gonna last here. Anyways, I mean, like, here's something to distill things as simple as possible. Quote, our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite of idea. They're talking about like the opposite of what we presented in the Constitution. The founding fathers presented in the Constitution. Opposite idea. Its foundations are laid. Its cornerstone, the cornerstone speech, rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery, subordination to the superior race, is natural and normal condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based on this great physical, philosophical, and moral truth. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up what these people are about, right? I mean, you know, we can get academic, but, like, at the end of the day, it's just slavery, you know? These people wanted to secede to preserve that institution. And then fought to do so, and lost. It's that simple.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
Jesus. What do you want me to say about slavery? Well, I think it's pretty fundamental to the question about the cause of the Civil War.
Next question.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. Former governor of South Carolina, the first state to secede from the Union in 1860, instead said that at the event in Berlin, New Hampshire, that the catalysts were basically how the government was going to run and freedoms of what people could and couldn't do. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I might be wrong. Like, she may just genuinely believe this because, yeah, I might be wrong. The Republican candidate then turned the question around on the person who posed it. What do you think caused the Civil War? She asked. The questioner responded by saying, I'm not running for president. I mean, like, you could just immediately correct it, but I think it comes down to the role of government and what rights and what the rights of the people are. And we will always stand by the fact that I think the government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. Yeah, but like if you're, I don't know, threatening to like take away people's freedoms and people's rights, then like the government does need to intervene, right? Like you can't be like, oh, I actually want to implement slavery in my little, you know, area. If you try to intervene, you know, I don't want big government intervening in my business. That's not how this works, dude. Will the GOP elect anyone who represents as white and against Trump? Doubt it. Isn't that contradictory to what they are fighting for? It doesn't have to make sense. Because, like, if what you are doing is attempting to make an institution that enslaves people, then the government at that point does have a duty to intervene, right? Hey, yeah, they use the word freedom differently. Yeah. It makes more sense that way, right? So now that we have all that, we went through that. Several political and economic factors ultimately contribute to the start of the Civil War. You know, like the political power of whether or not you want to have the institution of slavery, and economic factors like, you know, whether these wealthy, ultra-wealthy plantation owners want to continue that grasp on power. Yeah, slavery was at the center of both of those things. Now that we got that out of the way, Nikki Haley doesn't mention slavery and asks what caused the Civil War. She later then walks it back. Republican presidential candidate was asked at the New Hampshire, asked during the blah, 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 blah. She then turned the question. Okay, did they, I thought she was going to, I thought she walked it back. Did I misread this? After Haley went into a lengthier explanation about the role of government, individual freedom, and capitalism, the questioner seemed to admonish Haley, saying, "In the year 2023, it's astonishing to me that you answered the question without mentioning slavery. What do you want me to say about slavery?" Okay, that's where it cuts off. Haley, the former UN ambassador. Here we are. Okay. Here we are. Sorry. That's a simple question. She should have nailed it. Yeah, it's really, as far as like distilled simple answers, like, yeah, at the core of what, was at the core of what this was, it was slavery. It was slavery. That's it. It was the preservation of the institution of slavery. That's it. She backpedaled on her Civil War comments 12 hours later, with her campaign disseminating a Thursday morning radio interview in which she said, of course, the Civil War was about slavery, something she called a stain on America. She went on to reiterate that freedoms matter and individual rights and liberties matter for all people. Then, like, why wasn't that like the immediate, why wasn't that the immediate answer? Like, why wasn't that the immediate answer? Like, it's such a slam dunk question to anybody who's being asked this, right? You would think. Yeah, that's right. I can imagine if she would have said that from the get-go, immediately she would have been called woke. That's true. Welcome, off-world colonists, because it was too easy and simple. Is Haley afraid of questions? No, I think she's afraid of the base. That's what it is. I mean, unless you just genuinely, I don't know. I don't know if she genuinely believes this. I think the issue is often that people know that there's a nuance, but they don't have the skill set to articulate it properly. Yeah, but I mean, this is not like hard. You don't have to give a dissertation. You don't have to give a dissertation. Like, what was the cause of the Civil War? Well, cause of the Civil War is the South wanted to secede to preserve the institution of slavery. I mean, it's true. That's literally what happened. You don't have to give like a complete. You don't have to give a complete thesis on an academic. You don't have to give an academic paper to respond to the question like what was the cause of the Civil War, right? Like it's literally just like the South wanted to secede. The South seceded in efforts to preserve the institution of slavery. That's it. Our GOP rivals quickly jumped on her original argument, even though most of them have been accused of downplaying the effects of slavery themselves. Governor DeSantis, hey, listen, Meatball Ron has no business talking in this scenario. Meatball Ron is literally trying to approve, or at least the state of Florida, which he leads, is trying to approve curriculums, basically saying how slaves benefited from slavery. So, like, I don't know, like, Meatball Ron should probably sit this one out, right? Florida Governor DeSantis recirculated the video of the original exchange on social media, adding comments like, yikes. Campaigning in Iowa on Thursday, DeSantis said Haley had some problems with some basic American history, and it's not difficult to identify and acknowledge the role slavery played in the Civil War. Like, literally, that's all you had to say. It's not more complicated than that in terms of, like, answering the question as to, like, what was the cause or core subject around the Civil War. It's just the South wanted to secede to preserve the institution of slavery. But again, this is empty coming from Ron DeSantis, given the fact that his state is like trying to push the idea that slaves benefited from slavery. Like, oh look, they came out with like, you know, skills and stuff. Yeah. Nah. DeSantis faced criticism over slavery earlier when Florida, oh yeah, here it goes, enacted new education standards requiring teachers to instruct middle school students that slaves develop skills that could be applied to their personal benefit. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe Meatball Ron should sit this one out. But, yeah. How the hell DeSantis has minority supporters is beyond me. The GOP is doing a great job of attracting them and women these days, too. Yeah, well, I mean, like, a lot of, especially in Florida, a lot of Hispanic people are pretty right-wing. Tim Scott of South Carolina, the only black Republican in the Senate, and DeSantis, then rival for the GOP, nomination rejected that characterization, said that slavery was about separating families, mutilating humans, and even raping their wives. Make America Great Again, Inc., a super PAC supporting Trump's campaign, sent out a release saying Haley's response showed that she's clearly not ready for prime time. Didn't Trump hire her as UN secretary? So, yeah. A lot of it is failures of Democratic Party. Yeah, well, the Florida Democratic Party is pretty non-existent. Yeah, slavery was a jobs program where you came out with skills, you know? Yeah. A lot of Cuban capitalist refugees in Florida. Yep, slavery is a jobs program. Yeah, that's the new spin. Trump did not mention the 2 centuries of slavery in America at a 2020 event marking the 223rd anniversary of the signing of the Constitution. Instead, he focused on America's founding, having set in motion the unstoppable chain of events that abolished slavery, secured civil rights, defeated communism and fascism, and built the most fair and equal, prosperous nation in human history. Issues surrounding the origins of the Civil War and its heritage are still much of the fabric of Haley's home state, and she has been pressed on the war's origins before as she ran for governor. In an interview with now defunct activist group then known as the Palmetto Patriots, described the war between two disparate sides fighting for tradition and change, and said the Confederate flag was not something that is racist. Yeah. Sadly, backlash from Cuba, Catholicism, and daddy domineering, so it turns people conservative. Oof. Not surprising that she gave that answer not too long ago, right? 13 years ago? Yeah. During the same campaign, she dismissed the need for the flag to come down from the State House grounds, portraying that her Democratic rivals push for its removal as a desperate political stunt. Yeah, true. 5 years, Haley urged lawmakers to remove the flag from its perch near Confederate soldier monument following a mass shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, in which a white gunman killed 9 black church members who were attending a Bible study. At the time, Haley said the flag had been hijacked by the shooter from those who saw the flag symbolizing a sacrifice and heritage. Yeah, not a racist flag though, huh? If it's not a racist flag, why do racists gravitate towards it, and why do they feel like it's a symbol of their beliefs? South Carolina's Ordinance of Secession in 1860, proclamation by the state governor outlining its reasons from seceding the Union, mentions slavery in its opening sentence and points to increased hostility as part of the non-slaveholding states to the institution of slavery as a reason for the state removing itself from the Union. Another way of putting it is the South wanted to secede because it wanted to preserve the institution of slavery, period. That's about as distilled and simplistic as you can get. On the Wednesday night, and like that's all she had to say, but she just couldn't do it. On Wednesday night, Cristela Spain, elected as the first black woman to chair the South Carolina Democratic Party, said Haley's response was vile but unsurprising. The same person who refused to take down the Confederate flag until the tragedy of Charleston and tried to justify Confederate History Month, Jesus Christ, said in a post on Twitter, she's just as MAGA as Trump, adding Trump referred, yes, we know. He hired her. Same person who said the Confederate flag was about tradition and heritage, and as a minority woman, she was the right person to defend keeping it on state grounds. Harrison posted on Twitter. Some may have forgotten, but I haven't time to take off those rose-colored Nikki Haley glasses, folks. Yeah. Yeah, so she tried to walk it back, but like she has a history of saying this nonsense. As a couple of folks pointed out in chat, I forget who, I'm sorry. May have been the simulacra. Maybe it's just part of the education system. She may just genuinely believe this. But, you know, it's hard in 2023 because, like, you can educate yourself, you know? Trump on slavery, there are good people on both sides. It's just in Trump removed from the main ballot. Is this just breaking? What? Yeah, this is just breaking. Well, we just managed to get all the articles done, but Maine's top election of removes Trump from the 2024 ballot. Maine's top election officials has removed former President Trump from the election, from the 2024 ballot in a surprising decision based on the 14th Amendment insurrection ban. The same freaking thing. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I just saw that he's back on the Colorado ballot until the Supreme Court rules. Yes, they have to make a decision before January something. So if the Supreme Court rules that actually Trump can be removed, that's gonna probably create it may be the case that it could create a domino effect for other states, and at that point we might be looking at a completely different landscape as to how this is going to play out. Because if Trump is removed from the primary, it means that he's in real trouble of potentially not winning the Republican nomination, and that puts things in a completely different state, different scenario. There's only 4 electoral college votes in Maine. No, this is for the primary ballot. Although this one is it from the complete one? But anyways, we'll keep following up on how this ends up playing out, especially with what's going to happen with the Supreme Court, because that may create a domino effect. We'll see. But hey, what a phenomenal way to end the last stream of the year, right? Let's effing go. Phenomenal way to end the year, huh? For anything that makes Trump's big catch-up throwing mad, the RNC will put him back at the convention. I guess they could, right? I mean, I guess technically the RNC could just say that he's the nominee and that's it, right? Technically, if the RNC decides, they could just say he's the nominee, right? They wouldn't even have to hold any primaries. Where it matters is if whether or not these decisions mean that he can be off the ballot, period, from the general election. That's what I want to know when all this is said and done. Does it mean, like, if the Supreme Court decides that, the 14th Amendment does, in fact, say that he should be removed from the ballot, does that mean now Is he just ineligible for the primary ballot, or is he going to be ineligible for the completely off that state ballot from Colorado? And if that's the case, then other states might follow through. And if it is true that he is eliminated from the general election ballot, that changes a lot of things. The Maine decision shows potential perils to Trump if the issue is decided on a state-by-state basis. He lost Colorado by 13 percentage points and does not need it to win the presidency, but Maine divides its electoral college votes by congressional districts, and Trump has twice won the state's second congressional district. If he's not on the ballot there, he would start his 2024 campaign down one electoral college vote. The Secretary of State, it's not just Maine. It's the fact that if the Supreme Court backs this idea or backs this legal argument of the 14th Amendment, then other states might follow through. And if enough of those are in play, then maybe that changes the equation, doesn't it? I'll have to look into it as these cases play out and what the Supreme Court ends up saying. But definitely something to keep an eye out. At least it'll make it harder for him, you know? On that note, folks, it is the last stream of the year. Wow, it's been quite a year, 2023, and I expect 2024 to be even wilder, to say the least. Given that it's a election year, so of course we'll be here. We'll keep covering everything. A couple of things before we go. First of all, thank you guys for making this year awesome. Yes, exactly. Thank you for the 2023 memories. Thank you for being generous and supporting the channel. Thank you for all of you being here. The channel has grown, folks. It has. And I appreciate it. Keep it up, folks. Spread the word. Bring a friend every time. Thank you, guys. Join the YouTubes. Subscribe. Like the stream, follow here on Twitch. At this point, we've had 2,333 followers. That's huge. Thank you guys so much. Keep it up. Heat with the 5 biddies and Sharpie Diesel with the sub. Thank you so much for a 12 month sub. Look at that. You got the black badge now, I believe. Alio with the 6 biddies. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. 300 folk this year, I think. Yeah, a lot. Definitely, thank you guys. If you guys want some cool merch, there's the link there. And don't forget, folks, while this may be the last stream of the year, it is not the last time we may see each other. If you want to hang out in the Discord, December 30th, in a couple days, there will be a movie. In any case, I hope everyone enjoys. And I hope everyone has an awesome time off, and I hope everyone spends some time with friends and family. As always, folks, signing off for the last time in 2023. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Albion, I hope to see you guys in the next year. See ya. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate it. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. what kind of streamer is left? Western left or Eastern left? I don't know what that means. Listen. I'm just left, okay? Hang tight, folks. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you. Folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.